Y'all, I can't even begin to tell you how excited I am to share this story with you today. Have you ever felt afraid to speak up even when you knew it was the right thing to do? Like, seriously, we've all been there, right? Well, that's exactly where we find Esther, a young Jewish woman living in Persia who suddenly finds herself in a life-or-death moment. And not just for herself, but for her entire people. Oh my goodness, can you imagine the pressure? Okay, so Esther. She wasn't born into royalty or anything like that. She was just a regular girl, an orphan actually, raised by her cousin Mordecai. But y'all, God had some crazy plans for her. Through this wild turn of events, she becomes queen, chosen by King Xerxes for her beauty and grace. I mean, can you even imagine? One day you're just living your life, and the next you're like literally royalty. Being queen wasn't all glitz and glamour, you know? No one, not even the queen, was allowed to approach the king without being summoned. Doing so could mean death. Talk about intense. So everything's going along fine, and then boom, this law goes out across the kingdom. All Jews are to be killed. Y'all, I can't even imagine how terrifying that must have been. This powerful official named Haman, full of pride and revenge, tricks the king into signing this deadly decree. When Mordecai hears the news, he's like, "Esther, you've got to speak to the king." But Esther is terrified, and honestly, who wouldn't be? She hasn't been called into the king's presence in over a month. If she walks in uninvited, she could be executed. But then Mordecai says something so powerful it gives me chills every time. He's like, "Who knows? Maybe you were made queen for such a time as this." Oh my goodness, y'all. Isn't that just amazing? Alright, so Esther's got this huge decision to make, right? And y'all, she does something so brave. She takes a deep breath and tells Mordecai to gather all the Jews and fast for 3 days. Then, even though she knows the risk, she puts on her royal robes and approaches the throne. Can you imagine how her heart must have been pounding? The room falls silent. The king looks up and holds out his golden scepter. She's safe. Esther uses wisdom and invites the king and Haman to a special banquet. At the second banquet, she finally speaks up and reveals Haman's evil plan. The king is furious. Haman is exposed and the Jews are saved. Y'all, it's just so amazing how God used Esther's courage to save so many lives. Y'all, Esther's story reminds us, courage isn't the absence of fear. It's choosing to do what's right in spite of fear. Sometimes we're placed in difficult situations for a purpose, for such a time as this. So I want to ask you, what's your Esther moment? Where is courage calling you to speak up, step out, or stand firm? Remember, be brave, be faithful. You never know what God can do through you. It's just so exciting to think about, isn't it?